here with the OBX wave report, filming from the base of Jennette's Pier, and we've got, it looks like 1 to 2 foot waves here offshore with a very brisk southerly wind, south, maybe, yeah, it looks like south and southwest, looking at the wind turbine mounts up here at Jennette's Pier. And the wave tops are getting blown off. I'm going to zoom in on the wave tops. And I wanted to get a close perspective here because I did want to talk about some of the coastal features and how they interact with storms and winds here in the Outer Banks. And we do have a strong frontal system moving in here from the west. Possible severe thunderstorms this evening, and thunderstorms and gale force winds likely. Looking at the ocean, you can see the longshore current moving in from the right-hand side, which is the south, and then moving beneath the pier. You can see the water and the waves from the current splashing up against the column as it moves across the columns of the pier. And you can also see the waves breaking offshore. And one of the features of the Outer Banks that's very interesting to me is the way the swells tend to wrap around the Outer Banks more typically than with a flat coastal environment. I grew up in Virginia Beach, and if the winds were coming from like the southwest like this, you wouldn't typically get very much in the way of waves. You typically get like a rather blown out wave. But what's happening here is we're getting the swell wrapping around, and so there are some 1 to 2 foot swells lining up here. And even though the wind is coming from an offshore angle, it's driving the swell up from the south, because you got like a bay, almost a bay feature in the coastline to the south. And in that dip in the coastline, that large broad dip between, say, Cape Hatteras and Florida, you've got all this area for swell to develop. And then when it hits the Outer Banks, it can tend to wrap around even though the winds are offshore. So that's an interesting feature from the point of view of a surfer and from the point of view of a wave and weather watcher. Also, what we're seeing here is right now winds probably coming out of the southwest in the range of 20-25 miles per hour. Not extraordinarily strong yet, but it might get really strong later. Look at those winds blowing off the tops of those waves. Let's see if I can zoom in, give you guys a little bit more of a view of the offshore break. There's waves pounding here on the Outer Banks. They're not large yet, but they do appear to be building. We are looking east and southeast right now, and this is toward the more clear skies. I'm going to go ahead and, wow, look at the tops getting blown off the waves. Classic storm feature here on the Outer Banks. But I am going to angle the camera around, give you guys more panoramic shot in a moment here after we get a few more shots of these waves. So you can see the clouds that roll in and pop up. We've got some thunderstorm activity in the south and west. I was looking at the radar just a moment ago in the Greenville area of North Carolina and south and west of the Outer Banks here. And it's likely that we're going to get more storm conditions. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and spin the camera around. It's slightly lighter and clearer to the southeast, and then as we look south, we get a bit heavier in the cloud banks. And then as we get west and southwest, go ahead and stand up so you get a little bit more perspective. You can see the darker clouds out here to the west. And then panning back down south. You can see the wind blowing the sand across the beach as it cuts through into the southwest. And then back to our shopping ocean. And then I'm going to angle it out underneath the pier so you'll see through the pier. And as we look to the north and east through the pier, you can see a thick bank of clouds just offshore as the front looks like it's starting to interact with the Gulf Stream a bit, picking up some convective potential energy, popping up those storms in the offshore environment. So stormy conditions picking up here on the coast at Jennette's Pier. Winds are really starting to pop up. Sands blow in across the beaches. There's stronger winds. I can hear it whipping through the railing up there on the pier. What we got? Got a balloon in the surf? Some kind of ball blowing in the surf. All sorts of stuff caught in the surf, but you can see this thing getting whipped up by the wind and the current, and it is moving. That's a fast longshore current. Some of that is definitely from the wind, but that does give you an indicator of how fast the longshore current is. It's like a balloon, and it's just going to pass right underneath the pier. Go ahead and give you guys another observation. I might go back and look out across the sound. The sound can get really dramatic here as the storm starts to roll in. And whoa, look at this. Got a couple of waves in there. Tops blown off. Strong southerly winds here. South and southwest. Watch another swell roll in. Choppy for a good ride, although if you had the right kind of board, you might have some fun on the slot here. Overall though, gritty, choppy. Ahead of this storm today, we'll see what kind of thunderstorms we get in the evening. Thank you for joining me for this coastal beach observation from the OBX Wave Report. I'll be back with you shortly as the storm rolls in.